All right. Welcome back to the channel today. I'm here with Jacob, fitness coach, who basically at least doubled, almost tripled the business this year. And yeah, man, you've been absolutely crushing. Went from like 6 to 7K a month, you said, to like just barely touching 20.
Yeah.
And yeah, now we still got what 3, 4 days left in the month. So I think you'll get the last 1 or 2K in for sure this week. So yeah, dude, welcome back and super pumped to talk with you today. Just kind of like, yeah, breaking down like how can someone who's kind of stuck at like, yeah, 6, 7K a month, things are like a little inconsistent, get to like 10, 15, 20 and like sustain that. So I know it's been a bit of a it's been a journey together for sure. And there's been highs, there's been lows, and just like lots of yeah, hard work and growth and development. And so I'm really excited to dive into that today. So dude, yeah, excited. Who are you?
Me,
Who are
me
you
too.
for the people watching? Give us a quick little background.
Yeah, so I'm a fitness coach. I help, guys lose weight. Have a huge passion for it because I went through a huge weight loss journey myself. Went from like 220 down to 150. And I was like 220 like the seventh grade. So I was always like growing up overweight and people bullied me in school. So I don't know, before COVID, I finally realized to make a change. That's what I did. Fell in love with the journey. Started helping some people like even at school. And I created an Instagram page to track my journey. And next thing you know, I turn 18. I'm like, okay, what do I want to do with my life? I don't want to go to college. Let's, help people. And that's what I did. So it's been a journey to say the least.
That's awesome. How old are you now?
20 still. I don't turn 21 until December.
Unreal, dude. That's so awesome.
Yeah.
It's what's funny too is like we're just gonna yeah dive in and like I said before we started recording, just super raw and whatnot. But it's funny because like when we're young, we think it's like a disadvantage, but then there is like this thing where it's like being young is can actually be a huge advantage. And it's like, yeah, being able to say like, yeah, I mean 20K a month at 20, it's like, dude, that's crazy.
I
And
know.
yeah, like dude, when I was 20, I was like you're way ahead of me, I will say. I'm 27 now. It's like, dude, when I was 20, I was still like getting drunk like 3 days a week and just like having fun in college and like had no idea what I wanted to do with my life at all. And
Yeah.
yeah, so you're doing pretty good. But yeah, dude, talk to me. How did like what were some of like the biggest like maybe mental unlocks that really like triggered that growth?
I mean, really just you get so caught up like from my 7K to like where I'm at now. You get so caught up on like trying to crack that ad, right? And that's something that I did. Like I'm very aggressive whenever it comes to ad spend. Like I'll put as much as needed, especially if it's shown to work. And I think that's a good trait to have, kind of being aggressive as long as you know what you're doing, right? And you have Jeremy by your side to answer questions. But really what it was is I sat down one day just kind of like thinking, what am I doing? And I asked myself, I was like, who even is my ICP, right? My ideal client. And I didn't even know how to answer that question. I literally had no idea who it was, even though I've been doing this for a year and a half. So I sat down, I completely redid my offer, or at least the person that I want to target on my offer and completely did that and then doubled on like my content and marketing, like the way that I talk to my new ICP, right? Because obviously everyone has their ideal client that they want to coach, and you have to talk to them in a certain way. So I had to revamp all of that, and just doing that and focusing on that for like a few days, and then I started hitting the ground, going. I really think that's what it did. I mean, and you know what's cool, Jeremy? I don't think I've told you this, but I have literally cut half of my ad spend in the last 4 weeks too, compared to before. So it's like, yeah,
Wow.
and that's the thing too, and that's what made me realize it's like, okay, like you can spend however much you want on ads too, but if you don't have, the basics figured out, you can only go so far.
Yeah. Oh, that's awesome. Well, and like aside from like was there anything aside from like niching down and just like getting crystal clear on that ICP that like allowed you to like actually grow the business while like cutting the ad spend in half? Or is that kind of the main thing, just getting a lot better leads for a lot cheaper because the messaging was way more dialed?
Yeah. Well, if anything, I had my original ad back in November that, worked for me. The cost per like follow went up a little bit, and that just kind of happens over time. But then I had a cost per follower on a different ad, and it seemed fine. But I actually went through follower by follower to see, which person is coming from which ad, which I can't really do anymore. It's weird. It's allowed me sometimes, but not anymore.
Dude,
But I
mine's
realized,
doing this too.
yeah, it's so weird.
Yeah.
Um, that's cool because I went down from like all my followers for like 2 weeks and just, tracked down if they're qualified and which ad they came from. And I realized all the unqualified people were coming from the bad ad that I was putting most of my money into. So I was like, all right, screw this ad. Let's go back to the one that's been working. Even though the cost per follower is a little bit more expensive, it's the eyeballs that I need on my page. I don't need, trashy eyeballs that are never going to convert because that's just a waste of money, no matter how low the cost per follower is. So let me pay for premium eyeballs, warm them up, and then they're a lot easier to sell once they're warmer up. That's another thing, middle of the funnel. I feel like a lot of people try and just sell directly to cold, and if you can, I envy you. I really wish I could, but most of the time we have to warm them up first. And I think focusing on that and getting the right eyeballs has helped me a ton.
That's awesome, man. Yeah, I had a very similar experience too. I was like, I launched some ads that were like qualifying a little bit harder. Cost per lead doubled.
Yeah.
And I was like, normally it's like scary because you're like, this makes no sense. Why would I pay way more per lead? But then you look at the quality and they're like way better. And then they actually convert and they buy. And then my ROAS like 4x'd from like a 4 to like a 12 to 18, which is nuts. And yeah, that's awesome. Um, and then like mentally, like who did you have to become? Like who did you really need to like what kind of like character identity did you need to like step into versus like even just like a year ago, I'd say.
And this kind of goes back to the age thing. I am very bad at like comparing myself, but at the same time, I don't think it's a bad trait to have, because it kind of like pushes me forward to grow. But I mean, I'm 20 years old and I see everyone in the community just hitting all these goals. And it makes me so upset, or not upset, but it makes me want to work so hard to hit that goal too. And what makes me realize is like, okay, like I'm 20 years old, bro. Like my life is so young right now. Like haven't even done much for my life. Like I'm just young, right? And I always talked about growing up, like whenever you're young, before you have kids, before you have a family, shoot the shot, right? Take risk. And that's what I've been doing ever since, honestly, I joined your program, right? You spend money to learn. And that's what I've done, right? I've spent money. You got to fail too. I've definitely failed in some times, but then, you have huge wins like this that make those loss like way better, right? It pays off. Um, so to answer your question, I'd say, becoming that man to find out a way whenever things are tough, figure out the way and, take risk, right? If you're questioning whether you should do something or not, I'd say just do it because you're never going to learn unless you fail, right? Um, and that's something that I've definitely gone through this year. But it's starting to pay off, right? I've learned so much in these last few months and all the failures that I've had, I don't regret, right? It's made me realize things in my business that I needed to realize.
Love that,
Does that
dude.
make sense?
100%. Yeah.
Mm.
I think yeah, a lot of people have like a weird perspective on like failure. And um one of the books I'm reading right now is Outwitting the Devil by Napoleon Hill. And funny enough, like another one of my clients, Matt, he actually lives in my building here. And I closed him in the lobby one day. He's a fitness coach too. And awesome guy. And anyways, he gave me this book like a couple days ago. And in that there's a chapter on like temporary defeat versus failure. And it says like the most successful people in the world are the ones that have gone through the most temporary defeats, but they don't give up and they don't quit. And they use that to its advantage. It's like for every like for every temporary defeat, there's an equal like seed of opportunity that can come from it as well. So we just have to kind of like reframe our view on failure and
Mm.
or defeat. And like, yeah, the only way to fail is like if you quit. And
Yeah.
so I think just like staying power is a huge one. And I see a
Yeah.
lot of people like, yeah, that's like a huge character trait to develop is just how long can you just stay in the fight and just keep getting back up, you know?
Yeah. And I think one thing I've heard this ever since like I started my business because I used to listen to Hermosi all the time and I still do.
Hmm.
But he says something about, you're always going to have like your bottom 1% days or bottom 10% days it was, and then you're going to have your top 10% days. And there's days where you feel like you're just going through it, right? You feel like you're just fighting the world. But if you think about it, the bottom 10% of the whole year, that's over a month. You're gonna have quite a bit of those days, but then you're also gonna have quite a bit of those days that are just extremely well. And of course, in between. So that makes me realize, like, okay, like I mean, it's normal. You're gonna go through this, right? But yeah, you have to have the mindset that, or you have to have the mindset that this is a growth opportunity, right? And I think having that mindset, which it took time to develop, but I think having that mindset is kind of something that helped with my growth also. Because there have been so many times I've wanted to quit, man. Like I'm sure we've all been there, but
Oh yeah,
so many, and I feel like a failure, but you get through it, right? And that's the growth part.
absolutely. Yeah. It's funny, man. Last week I started this like young entrepreneur mentorship program. And so it's for local guys here that are just, yeah, 18 well, actually there's a 16-year-old, so 16 to 23, who are like building businesses and stuff. And I kind of was like telling my story. I'm like, it was crazy to like reflect back because I haven't thought about it for a while. It was like, yeah, it was like 3 or 4 years, dude, of just like $0 of just
Yeah,
like grinding and like nothing to show for it. And I think a lot of people well, you don't see that, right? All you see is like what you see now, you know?
yeah,
And
yeah,
so it's important to understand that there's going to be a lot of those dark days that lead to the good ones. And the deeper you go, the darker you go, the higher you can climb on the other side.
yeah, yeah. I remember my first year of business. Dude, I remember I was get so happy if I crossed $800 for the month. And then I learned ads, and that's completely 10x everything. So I remember that though. I mean, during those 10 months, if anything, that's whenever like my mindset was super strong. Like I knew what I wanted. I didn't know how to get there, but I knew I was gonna figure it out. Right. And you meet the right people, connections, and you can figure it out. But those are the months that you just grind and figuring out who you actually are, especially being young. I mean, I was 18, 19 at the time, still trying to figure out who I wanted to be as a human.
Yeah.
Yeah, good times.
That's awesome. What's been one of the hardest parts about this journey, about running the business, or about like cracking ads or setting or anything like that?
So like business alone or
Just anything that
personal?
stands out, whatever came to mind.
Honestly, the first thing that came to mind is balance. I struggle a lot with balance with like I feel like if I focus too much on like business takes a lot of my mind up, to be honest. I don't know if that's a good or a bad trait to have. But that's definitely something I've had to work on, like keeping business like kind of outside of my personal life, but at the same time it is personal. It's weird to explain,
Yeah, right.
but I have had times where it's like I'm at the pool with my buddies or something, or just like hanging out with the girlfriend, and it's in my mind it's like, okay, I need to figure out a new opener. Obviously, this isn't working, and I'm at dinner, right? Trying to figure out stuff. I'm texting my appointment setter, try this one. Just all these things. So I've worked on really balance because you have to find a healthy balance. Like with you, I think you take off the weekends, which is great. Like I kind of finding that balance, right? But for me, it was like I'm always working, and I know it's probably not the greatest thing to do.
Yeah.
Um, but that's a personal one. I'd say one of the biggest struggles that I've gone through business wise, probably just the DMs, honestly. But once you can figure that out, I feel like I don't know, I don't want to say easy, but relatively simple if you understand how it works, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah. That's
But
awesome. Yeah. Yeah. Right now, like, because I feel the exact same way, man, where it's just like work 24/7, like every single day. And then you start to, yeah, kind of like lose excitement for it and get a little burnt out. So then I like to go to the extremes. So I put a hard like stop on it. I'm like, hey, after 4 p.m., that's my cutoff for the day every day. Like I'll only take calls on like Mondays and Thursdays. and then I won't even look at Slack on the weekends.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, dude, I was like, and all my notifications are off for everything too. But like, I used to be like really bad, or is like I would just like doom scroll Slack basically when I'm bored. Like my default is just reach my pocket, grab my phone, open Slack, and then just like it's like 8 p.m. like hanging out with the girlfriend, and like she's like, "What do you?" I'm like, you know, and it's like, yeah, I need some boundaries for myself. But it wasn't always like that, right? It's like you do have to kind of grind to like get out of the atmosphere, and then once you're in orbit, then you can kind of like have some systems like that in place and pull back a little bit, you know. Um, but yeah, it's a common one I think all of us deal with for sure.
Like whenever you mentioned like the 5 day no phone retreat thing, I was like, I need that. Like that is perfect. That's something like you don't realize you need to do. I mean, you're just always on the screens and
Yeah,
5 days with no phones, nothing but nature, dude. I
yeah,
just I think that's a whole mental reset that I need.
yeah.
Um, but yeah, I mean, talking about like having like systems in place, I think that's the next step for me, really. A lot of what I've done this month was on my own. Like I'm in the process of finding like a new appointment setter too.
Cool.
Or not anymore, but I had during this month I was. And I think that's a role that I'll have to start learning. I've talked to other people, I know Adrian specifically, he was always talking about how leadership was the hardest thing that he learned, but eventually you learn it, right? Like it's any other skill to learn, right? Just, same skills trying to figure out ads. It's hard to learn at first, but eventually you start getting the hang of it. I think the next step for me really is leadership because you can't scale. You can't scale without, a team, like whether it be a setter, right? Because you can literally 3x your business with a setter, closers, CSMs, things like that. You have to have a team if you want to go high level. And a trait to, have a good team is leadership. That's something that I'm definitely learning still right now, especially as a young kid. I mean, I've never really been in like leadership positions before other than this, right? So still learning a bunch. But that's why I think within the next 3 months or so, by October, I think I could be back on this YouTube and say I've hit a 50K month or so, hopefully.
Yeah, man. Absolutely. And the cool thing too is like at first it happens very slow and then all at once. Right. And so like you're just now like at the beginning of like just massive traction and momentum. And so as long as we just like, yeah, keep the pedal floored, keep going and like just showing up daily, getting I think like you said, like systems with the new setter is gonna be a huge one. And then also like yeah, when the retargeting ads are like really cranking as well, that's when things can get nasty. And so, yeah, dude, I think like between those few things, you're super clear on the messaging now. You're getting the right people on board, dialed in with the sales. Like there's just a few little things left. And you're already like well on your way to fixing that. And you already know how to as well, which is cool. So now it's just going to be like a matter of time, really.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Um, and another thing I want to add is like having success also kind of like allows you to do more. Like, I've had really good months these last few months. And I had a client who was coming down to Kansas, and he's like one of my best clients. And I knew because Kansas is like 4 hours away, but I knew I needed to go see him and do an in-person interview. This is my biggest chance, my one of my only chances to do this with this guy. I didn't
Yeah.
know what I was going to use, the information or the video for at all, but I knew I needed to go down there, take him to lunch, and do an in-person interview and just know him. Those pieces of content that I filmed 3 4 months ago are paying off now with like the retargeting ads, man. Like it's crazy. Like the results are insane that
Hmm.
I'm getting just holding the attention. And I think those are really warm up people. I've had literally people message me saying like they come from that ad, right? I saw that in-person interview that you did with someone. Like that's the fact that you go out of your way to go meet someone is huge. So it's just like things like that, like kind of just like follow your heart. Like if you know something should be done, then kind of just like do it. Whether even if you don't know the answer for it now, it'll come
Yeah.
up later.
I love that. It's like we were talking about in the group call earlier. Like Giuseppe brought it up. He's like, I'm
Mhm.
willing to do the unscalable now because I know it's going to pay off. And it's like, I think a lot of people like aren't willing to do stuff like that, like you said, right? Where it's like that's not scalable, but I think it's the right thing to do. And so like same thing like with I see that like with myself too, where it's like I still have a one-on-one call with every single new client that signs up.
Mm.
And it's like that's not scalable at all. And like my calendar fills up and like when things are really humming, then like that's a lot of calls. And it's definitely not scalable. I won't be able to do this forever. However, like right now, it's like I still want that personal touch with every single client that comes through, right? And yeah, so I think there's there's a lot of power behind that, what you're saying.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
It's,
Um,
I always try to like listen to whatever the heart's saying, to be honest. Like I remember joining you, it was hard, but I mean, doing anything new, getting out of your comfort zone is gonna be hard. But like deep down, like I knew it's what I needed, and now it's like what I couldn't imagine like doing business without like having a community, people to ask questions to. Like it's huge, man, so huge.
yeah. What was that like? Because like, well, what was it like joining like your first program ever?
Yeah, so did you know I used to work with Adrian?
I think so, yeah. Oh, yeah, yeah. Yeah, Asian Silver, yeah.
Yeah, so Adrian, I randomly messaged him like whenever I started my business because like
Mhm.
even know things like this were a thing. I just listened to him on a podcast one day, realized I wanted to do kind of similar things to him, and I literally just messaged him. I was like, "Dude, you want to help me? Like, I'll pay you." He said, "Sure." So he helped me kind of go from like literally nothing to something, and he was like, "All right, I've taught you as much as I know. Now you just need to like keep doing your thing. But also, here's Jeremy. Jeremy's pretty good. He helped me go from here to here." I was like, "Okay, cool, noted." So like I always knew about you for like 2 to 3 months, and then I finally hit a time where it's like, okay, like what is going on? Oh, it's just scary, but I'm gonna do it, and it paid off, right? It's scary at first, but it's like you got to do
Yeah.
it. Like there's a reason something's telling you to do it.
Yeah. Funny enough, man, I recorded a YouTube video literally this morning on exactly this topic on doing the things that are scary because it like and how the reason it's scary is because there's like this internal conflict between like who you are now and who you like want to become and need to become in order to hit your goals. And they're just battling at war with each other inside. And like I told the example of like the first ever cold call that I ever made like 5 years ago from my agency is like, dude, that was the thing that I wanted nothing to do with. That like
Um,
it like terrified me. And yeah, I was just at war with myself. But it's not about like the action. It's not about the thing. It's like you're choosing like you're not choosing to like do the thing or not. It's like you're choosing like, do you want to create a new reality for yourself and achieve your goals, or do you want to stay exactly where you're at right now? And yeah, so it's wild, man. But
as cliche as it sounds, you got to get comfortable with being uncomfortable, man. It's literally all
yeah,
it is.
yeah, yeah.
But to answer your question though, about like the seeing the program for the first time, I just remember joining that group, and I just see like I don't know, I think the number was like 130, and I click on it and it's like, holy shit, these are all business owners
Hmm.
that I could, you just have connect like bro, people go through the same thing that you're going through, right? Kind of just talking about it with people, um, makes you realize like, okay, you're not alone. You're both going through this situation. Let's talk about it together. Oh, you figured out? What'd you do? Perfect. Oh my gosh, I just 2x my business, right?
Yeah,
And having the calls too to just ask any questions. It's really because whenever you're doing it alone, it literally feels like you're alone. There's no one else like on this journey with you. But being in the group, the group calls or just seeing the Slack wins or anything, it's like, okay, I'm not going through this alone. Or you see a question in the ads channel, it's like, is anyone else going through this? Yes. And I don't know, it just makes you realize you're not like alone, right? And that's very important. I feel like a lot of entrepreneurs can get like, I don't know, just they feel out sometimes because no one really understands them, at least for me. Like luckily I have a buddy who's also like a business owner, but he does like landscaping. So he doesn't
mm,
understand like, the whole online thing. But like whenever it comes business, he does. But whenever it comes online, like no one really knows what you're talking about. I mean, there's only so few of us.
yeah, yeah, 100%, man. I mean, it's so important to have that like, yeah, the support group with you and just like to lean on and talk to you and stuff. And what's funny too is like as you keep growing, then it's like you keep looking up to like new people that are like further ahead and stuff. And then it becomes like more expensive to get in the rooms too. But
Mm.
like also like, yeah, just extremely valuable as well. So it's super, super cool. Um, what so the goal is 50K by October, the next 3 months. Is there anything that where you're like, I'm not too sure like how to do that or like what to do? Like we could just like kind of jam on that a little bit right now too. Or if you're like, dude, like hiring the setter, getting those retargeting ads just absolutely cranking, like I'm good to go. Um, like, yeah.
I
What-
mean, yeah, I think it's got to be just like that last layer where I'm at is like I'm getting the eyeballs. It says I'm warming them up. It's like how do I kind of how do I restart that conversation again? That's literally where I'm at because I've noticed is like again, I talked to you about it before, it's just the middle of the funnel, right? Because the only issue that I've really have seen is whenever people come to me, like I sometimes they don't answer, but maybe they get warmed up and then I don't know. It's so weird. Like a lot, my response rate is low, and that's something that I kind of like realized this year. Like, and that's something I've been dealing with. But it's also like I can't keep just using that as an excuse as to not make any money, right? Because if you do, then you're gonna just quit, and I didn't want to settle for that. So obviously, I figured other things out, and I've realized this is working. But how do I kind of mix that in with the response rate issue? Because whenever people are cold following me, the odds of them answering are definitely kind of low. But it does seem like if I warm them up, they respond, better. They respond more. And definitely a more engaging conversation, which is like something I've never experienced before. So yeah, the thing is just really that, the three levels, kind of like I shared on the call today.
Mhm.
But like, just like anything else though, it's just testing, really, seeing what works great for me.
Yeah. I know what a couple guys are doing right now is kind of like we talked about earlier though, where it's like they're running some retargeting ads to then send people to like the VSL or like other really like valuable long form videos. And then even if they don't reply to your DMs, they see that, they click on the ad, go to the video, watch it, then they're like, damn, I like this guy. Or like now they kind of feel like they're like resonating with you. And dude, I've seen that so many times where it's like, because like I teach ads and setters, and it's like all of my clients are like either currently running ads or like about to, or like they have setters or they know what setters are. And so a lot of the time, like in the DMs, like people just ghost me and like send like whole whack of follow-ups and like nothing. And then all of a sudden they reach out of the blue, like, hey bro, can we hop in a call? Or hey dude, like I'm ready to rock and roll. Like send me a payment link. And
Yeah,
then I'm
that's what I
like,
did.
literally, yeah. And then I'm like, got it. And so even though we can't see it right now, as long as like the content, both on Instagram and then long form on YouTube is like actually like really valuable and good, then like they're lurking in the shadows. And so like Adam and Adrian, they're like they both hit 100K in the last couple months here. Adam I was talking to him in Texas like a couple months back. And he said he's been going nuts on YouTube, and he's like,
Yeah.
that's been such a game changer. And
Mhm.
so, um, yeah, that just like it's really like reassuring and like reaffirming with that too.
Yeah. That's another thing too, is like I know I need to get YouTube. I've tried it, and it's just the editing that gets to me. But just like you say, bro, just post it. Don't edit it. Because if you know the editing sucks, you're not gonna do it.
Yeah.
um
That's funny. A lot of people like ask me about that too. They're like, why don't you edit your videos? I'm like, dude, because if even like the extra pain of like uploading a video to a Google Drive folder, sending it to an editor, downloading it after they send it back to upload, I'm like, dude, I'm just not gonna do that. Like, even like thumbnails are like a pain in the ass, dude. Like waiting like my thumbnail editor to get back to me. He's super quick.
yeah.
However, like I would rather just upload the video with like no thumbnail than like take the time to go out of my way to do that. And yeah, it's kind of funny.
I know. I mean, it's just like anything else I said too. You gotta do what's, uncomfortable at first, but that's how you grow.
Yep.
So it's just same thing. But I mean, doing all those things, I think, really figuring out the ads to the T, which again feel like I'm right there. And like content is huge. That's something I realized this past month too. And every day this month I posted every day, and it's all content like or belief shifting content,
Mm,
and just game changer, man. It's honestly crazy. Because if it wasn't for posting all that, I really don't think I'd be where I'm at right now in the last 4 weeks.
yeah.
Um, because whenever I texted you that message, I think it was like, I don't know, June 16th. No, it was like 22nd or something. I don't know, something. But that's whenever I, really thought about who my ICP was, everything. And I told myself, I'm going to make content that's perfect, right? There's a whole marketing thing, talking to who you need to. And, 4 weeks from that date, it was 22K cash collected, right? So that's what I did. Now for the month, not necessarily because some of that was in June, but technically in that 4 weeks, I literally said the best
Yeah.
4 weeks are from today, and 22K cash collected. So it's like literally just focusing on what needs to be focused, right? I think Adrian says it best, but like your business doesn't care how you feel. It just cares what you feed it, right?
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
so good, man. So good. Yeah. Before we hit record today, like we were talking about it, it's like, when you like you just know that like things are gonna click. Like that's exactly what happened there. It's like you called it, bro. You're like, boys, like watch this. And then you just went off.
It literally went like that. It's so funny.
Yeah. Like from that date too, which is hilarious. And then just like tripled the business. That's awesome. Um, yeah. Aside from that, dude, like, is there anything else that you feel was like really like helpful, or just like big like insights or unlocks that can help you get through some like the harder periods? I know we've covered a lot of that today already. Or just anything else that like you'd have to say to someone who's kind of just like feeling stuck and not really seeing much growth or progress.
Yeah. I mean, you'll get through it if you actually care about what you're doing and, what you're coaching, who you want to help, you will get through your issue no matter what. Like, and it might be hard to believe at times, but I've gone through so many just failures, like I've said, but you will get through it. You just can't give up. Right. That's the number one thing. You will figure out a way to get through it. And yeah, it's going to be uncomfortable, right? You might have to, make that investment to get knowledge. You might have to, um, do 12-hour, 14, 16-hour days to get stuff done. But if you care about it enough, if it's something that you really want, then you'll figure it out, right? But just, testing, fight for it, and have the right people in your circle, and that's literally what I would say. And don't be scared to don't be scared to take risk, right? I think that's one thing, especially if you're young, dude. Like, I don't have a family, kind of a benefit for being young. It's like I don't have a family, not yet. One day,
Yeah,
but it's like, what do I have to lose, really?
dude, I love that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like you talking about that is like making me kind of reflect on like when I was first getting started too. And it's like, that's exactly it. Like my mindset when I was like trying to get to 100K a month was like, I will put everything on the line.
Yeah.
And I think maybe Adrian said it. One of the Adrians said it. It's funny, dude. Like there's like two Adrians. They both just hit like 130K a month, like last
I
month.
know.
And they're both
Whenever you
fitness
say that,
coaches.
yeah. Whenever you say that, I'm like, which Adrian is he talking about? I literally have to hover over the at sign just to see who
Yeah.
it is.
Literally, it's hilarious. Um, but like winners win
Yeah.
at the end of the day. It's like, yeah. And I think like, yeah, like when I was kind of getting started, I was like, I'll put everything on the line on like I viewed like my bank account as like this is my like these are like my fun coupons. These are like my risk coupons where I can just like don't buy stupid shit right now, Jeremy. Put it away. Or not put it away, but like be smart with this. Dump it all back in the business because like I viewed every dollar in the account as like the breath of the business.
Yeah.
And so if I spend the money on stuff that doesn't grow the business, then I actually like I'm strangling it.
Yeah. You
And
got
that goes for like, yeah, joining like masterminds, going to events and like coaching programs and stuff like that as well. Like when I would get stuck, and then instead of like, oh shit, now I got to spend like 10 or 20 or 30K, it's like, dude, that's what it's here for,
yeah,
you know?
exactly. I try to keep, especially being young too, like the expenses like very low. Like, dude, I just got a car payment literally like 2 weeks ago because I was driving the same car that I drove since sophomore year of high school, right? But eventually the AC stopped working, all this stuff. The car was kind of shitty. I was like, okay, like I can reward myself a little bit,
Yeah.
but I mean, I just, I try to limit my money. I mean, personally, at least. Now, again, whenever it comes to business, like
Hmm.
I might be too aggressive, but at least you get to learn quicker, right? Because I think to
Yeah.
learn, I mean, it literally comes down to two things. It's like either you can waste all your time trying to figure something out, or you can spend money to get the information that you need. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That could be whether it's investing in someone or investing in the ads to tell you which is, what's working, what's not. And I think, it's important to know those two things.
Totally. Yeah. It's almost like the faster somebody grows, like, and like business and revenue is just like it's like the scorecard. It's like the easy number to like to measure because it's easy to measure, right? But like the faster someone's like revenue grows is just I think it's just a reflection of like how fast and how aggressive they're willing to take risk. It's like the bigger the risk, the bigger the reward.
Yeah.
And like, and it doesn't even have to be like spending money though, too. It could be like doing the uncomfortable things. Like, oh shit, I have to sit here for 3 days straight and upload 70 retargeting ads to my ads manager one by one, creating a custom audience for each one. It's like
Yeah.
that sucks, bro. Like, you know, but it's like winners win. And like if that's what it takes, then that's what it takes.
I did all that this morning. I think I drank like 4 cups of coffees during all of it. It was insane.
Yeah.
But it was
Oh,
done.
that's hilarious. Well, dude, I do want to be respectful of your time as well. But yeah, man, is there anything else that you wanted to cover today? Anything else you want to talk about, or just any advice you want to give to somebody who's kind of going through a stage right now that of massive growth or about to?
Yeah, I think we're at the beginning of that massive growth. I really think we'll be back on here and at least saying 50K at least by the end of the year at least.
Yeah.
Uh, and what like I think one thing that I want to say is like just keep following your heart, follow what you need, what you think needs to be done, and
Mm,
what should come will come, right? But you can't give up. It's one thing I've been doing. So that's what I would say.
so good, man. So good. And what's funny is like usually we know exactly what we need to do, but we
Yeah.
just don't do it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Oh, well, that's awesome, man. Well, thanks again for coming on today. Really enjoyed our chat and congrats, bro.
Thanks for
Absolutely
having me.
crushing and really excited to see where we take things from here because yeah, man, you're gonna do great things and like just the man, the entrepreneur that you're becoming. It's awesome. Awesome to see that.
Thanks.
Awesome to be a part of your journey too. So appreciate you, bro.
Thanks. I appreciate it. Thank you for everything you've done so far.
My pleasure. All right. With that said, catch you in the next one.